I'm going to take you back to a time long ago, back when the only time you got to watch cool horror movies was when you watched HBO. And this is like back in the early 80s. And you didn't have video stores stocked with hundreds of titles. You couldn't go on Netflix and instant watch anything, so you were stuck watching whatever crappy horror movies showed up on late night. And that's where I saw this next movie, The House Where Evil Dwells. No, it does not. It's The House Where Evil Sucks, because this movie is terrible. But again, if you're old like me, you have seen this, you remember this. Family with Susan George, who's hot. When she's not getting assaulted like in Straw Dogs, she's all hot, showing off her boobs and stuff. And you got Edward Albert, the only son of Eddie Albert from Green Acres fame. He stars in this, and Doug McClure and some girl who's their daughter who ends up getting attacked at the end of the movie. But anyway, this movie is there's love triangle between these two samurais and one of the samurai's wife, and there's like a murder-suicide thing like there always is in all these damn movies. And then the family moves to Japan because the dad's writing. This is a different family, by the way, not the horrible, tragic murder-suicide family. New family moves to Japan, and they're going to stay in this house, even though Doug McClure tells them that it's haunted. Yeah, I'm going to bring my daughter into this haunted Japanese villa to just, let her get slaughtered by samurai swords and crap. Nice child raising there. But anyway, so they move in there, right? And they get possessed by these spirits, and Susan George ends up having sex with Doug McClure because she's possessed by the slutty spirit of the samurai's wife. And then it has two great scenes. These are the only two reasons to watch this movie, then you can turn them off after you see this. The first scene is when the girl's sitting at dinner and she's drinking some soup, and she looks into the cup of soup, and there's a frickin' screaming Japanese guy's face in there. It's like, ah! And she's like, Daddy, I can't eat this. There's a screaming Japanese guy's face in there. So the dad drinks it, gets possessed by the screaming Japanese guy, and then beats his daughter because he's possessed and he's all, crazy because this guy's murder-suicide guy, right? So, I mean, it's not like you got a whole lot of sane going on there. And then the other great scene is when the dad's like writing his paper on, Japanese culture and stuff, and he almost drowns filming some topless Japanese pearl diver chicks. If I did that, my wife would be like, you almost drowned. You can sit in that goddamn hospital all by yourself with your topless photos and stuff like that. But no, Susan George runs off, leaves their daughter with a babysitter, I think, even though the babysitter looks younger than the daughter. I haven't figured that part out yet. I'm thinking I lost something in translation there. But anyway, she wakes up and there's like some giant-ass crabs like floating around the room. And at first it's kind of scary because there's like a ton of crabs where they're sleeping, and they're sleeping on the floor, on the little mattresses there. And there's crabs everywhere, and I'm thinking, okay, these aren't giant crabs like the movie Island Claws. Oh man, I gotta do Island Claws. Remind me, put that in a note, because I can do that movie next time.
何かご用ですか?
You speak English?
I speak a little English. You like these no masks? Very fine.
Yes, I'd like to look.
No masks. From no place?
No place?
No place. Like theater.
Oh, you mean they're masks that actors wear in stage plays?
Yes. Stage plays. A long time ago.
They're very beautiful.
綺麗ですか?
はい。
だいたいこういう風にね、木から彫って。
They're all made of wood.
They look beautiful in our living room.
Daddy would be a little bit mad, don't you think?
Think he would? I would like to buy.
I'm glad you came. I've been expecting you. Now, let us talk. The house you live in was the scene of a terrible murder in the middle of the last century. There was a young girl named Otami who tired of her samurai husband, Shugoro, and fell in love with a student of her husband. His name was Masanori. Shugoro discovered the two lovers and killed them both, then committed harakiri. To get power of the reluctant Masanori, the tale tells of the night Otami visited the witch, Omajo.
もしあなたがそれを望むなら仕上げます。
They're not giant ass crabs from Island Claws, and they're not the crabs that crawl out of Rome's vagina in that Jess Franco movie, and that was pretty creepy too. No, these are like just like little crabs all over the place. But then all of a sudden, 3 giant Japanese possessed puppet crabs show up, and they're like flying through the room, and they scream at her in Japanese too. Everything screams in people at Japanese in this movie. So she's freaking out. She jumps out the window. The babysitter, if it's the babysitter or friend, I haven't figured out yet. She takes off. She just like leaves her sitting there to fend herself off against these giant puppet crabs. She climbs up in a tree, falls out of the tree, hits her head. Here come giant crabs to like come and bite her and crap with their giant Japanese screaming crab claws. But, you know, she gets away, of course. But then the mom and the dad and Doug McClure have to fight off these spirits, and it's just stupid. And the whole time you're watching it, you're like, man, this movie is terrible, except for Susan George's boobs and screaming Japanese crab monsters and stuff like that. This could have been cool, but no, you're stuck with this. Thankfully, we have all these options now. You never have to watch bad American-made, set in Japan horror movies ever again. You can watch the real thing.